Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to... let's see, Entite. There we go. Welcome back to... not that. Hey, 4-Bit Friday, how's it going? I'm going to be relaxing. Sort of, with Entite, which is not exactly the same thing, but whatever. Oh, and... hey, JLC. Okay, Entite, yes, okay. So there's one gun. Unfortunately, like, Entite is super... wow, this is like the chillest music I could have asked for, which is extremely weird. And now people are talking about feminism, which is scary. Oh well. Harpoon gun. This is going to be equally scary for another reason. Oh well. Let's just scoot over here and try and ignore sensitive topics, because sensitive topics are bad on the internet, comparatively. I don't know. I try and stay away from, like, major controversial topics if I can avoid it. Just because, you know what? If I piss somebody off, they're no longer my fan. And you know what? Call it greedy, call it mercenary, but I try and just be friends with everybody. Seems like a good plan anyway. Hard to please everyone. Anyway, this is not a topic I want to talk about today, so let's just focus on Entite. So at this point, we've actually gotten to cycle 1 on every single character, save for 2 characters, Entite and Jack. And considering Jack is completely worthless... the music just cut off and my brain just shut off at the same time. Anyway, seeing as Jack is completely worthless, we will not be using him. Anyway, it's like, I don't mind if people talk about, like, controversial stuff, but, like, please, just, if you're ever on my comments, if you're ever in my Twitch chat, if you're ever whatever, and you're talking about something semi-controversial, try and keep it, like, fairly positive, if ever. I don't know, like, call me a wimp, call me a sissy for not, like, wanting to talk about these things. But, like, in all seriousness, I've seen a lot of, like, quote-unquote controversy come through on, like, the YouTube side of things, on Twitter, on whatever, and it's just like, no, this isn't the cool kind of thing I want to do. Like, I've seen people get so angry about so many meaningless things. Oh, shoot. So, yeah, last episode, or last run, I was talking about, like, YouTubers and, like, things that can kill a channel and, like, really fast and stuff like that. And I was talking about entitlement and ego and stuff like that. And, like, one of the things that I was kind of talking about with, like, ego and, well, I guess I really haven't talked about entitlement too. God, that exploding eyeball. Bad positioning. Oh, well, let's go for the balls. Okay, well, at least we've opened that one up. But at the same time, God, that floating head is very hard to hit with this gun. Oh, that solves problems. But still, I have my doubts about my ability to hit that thing. And it doesn't matter anyway. Freaking damn it! Damn it, Bobby. We're getting our ass handed to us by a flying head. This is not okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna put that away. Leave it alone. Blow that up. Oh, God. That went my direction more than anything. And that's a bomb. I'm just gonna leave now. This is bad. This is just bad stuff. But so, like, so I was talking about, like, how to grow your channel and stuff like that. And one of the things that I always see with, like, a lot of people, I swear I've talked about this before, but still. But so, entitlement and YouTubing is a really interesting thing. And I've definitely mentioned this, along with, like, ego and whatnot, and, you know, larger channels giving bad advice and whatnot. And one of the interesting things I run into, and it's fairly frequent, is I was talking about this, I guess, kind of with the sub for the sub thing, but there's a contingent of people out there that believe, I guess really to go along with that, like, PewDiePie thing, you know, I'm better than PewDiePie, therefore I should be bigger than PewDiePie. There's a whole contingent of Let's Players, small, large, whatever, that feel entitled to something on YouTube. And they never really quite get how much work it is to, like, grow as a channel, and, like, a lot of them actually truly do work. Like, I have the utmost respect for people that... shit. Wait. Sweet health. Nope, come on, give me before they come back from my death. Oh, I can't kill them in one shot. That is bad. That is real freaking bad. Okay, I can blink dodge, though, which is nice. Okay, and I can also explode them sometimes. Yep, those are spikes up there. This is the best. This is the best. Okay, yep, nope. Getting the fuck out of there. Whoo! Levels going, all sorts of kitty wampus. This is why I do not like the This is why I do not like the harpoon gun. Harpoon gun always just results in, like, the just most stressful runs, where you can't hit shit with it. I don't like it with any of the characters, come to think of it. Either way, though. Well, we're not dead yet. That's a plus. However, everything else, bit of a minus. We'll see how it goes. At least we can one-hit KO those guys, but, like, those worms are scary business. Because I don't have much health here. Alright, just whatever. Let's just retry. Those were some awful drops anyway. But even more so, the just awful guns. No, you really need Jackhammer with this gun. Above all else. Nope, no such luck. But so, Entitlement. You know, a lot of people think that they deserve to be bigger YouTubers. I see very frequently, there's always a thread somewhere, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, give or take, or it's somebody asking, you know, how long does it take to grow as a YouTuber? And it's like, that is just a horrible question to ask at all times. Just because it's like, nobody can ever tell you. And the more you think that, damn it, the more you think that you're going to grow really fast. So I got a really good item, then I kind of am squandering it by going through the level really fast. Entite is hard to control sometimes. But so, you know, everybody will always ask, and, like, really just want to know how fast you can grow as a YouTuber. You know, how long until you're successful. And, like, for me, I would consider myself mostly successful at this point with, you know, 2,500 something subscribers, just past that today. You know, celebrations. I was trying to do, like, organize, like, party night with people, and we did, like, a little bit of open TTD, but it didn't work out that great. It's a good game, but nobody was quite on the ball and stuff like that. But, like, there's a lot of people that just believe that they should be handed, you know, views on a silver platter. They should be handed subscribers, that the big channels owe something to, like, the smaller guys for their growth. There's one specific guy that I see fairly frequently, kind of making these arguments. And he's not actually a small channel either, and it's just like, you know, you'd think you'd know better than this by now, but just every time I read anything this guy ever says, it's just like, you are just the most entitled person I've seen in a very long time. I keep trying to jump while shooting at the same time, and it doesn't work with Entite, go figure. But it's just kind of painful to hear, like, a fairly seasoned Let's Player be so bitter about the overall, like, scenario of Let's Playing. And it's like, yeah, you know what, if you've been at this for, like, years and years and years, I'd be a little bit bitter too. And you know what, to a small degree, it's like, you know, I probably should have been, like, 10, 20,000 at this point, but made mistakes. I recognize that. But so earlier today, I saw him in response to, like, a Markiplier interview. He was talking about how, you know, Markiplier kind of grew and grew and grew, and never really thought about, you know, the little guys that helped him along the way. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, you know what? People like Markiplier, who I must have mentioned several times by now that he started with our Let's Play to a large degree. He owes nobody nothing. Nobody owes anybody anything on YouTube. I mean, maybe I owe my friends a little bit here and there, just because. But at the same time, it's one of those where it's just like, let's see. I'm not naming names. If I'm being negative about anything, I'm not naming names. And honestly, he's such a meaningless person as far as it goes. He's just at this point, he's just a sock puppet for my point, more than a real person. Because he's not the only one, and there are many people that have just come off as incredibly entitled. He's just the one I'm thinking of currently. And so I'm just going to be mum about the name, because it's also kind of the right thing to do, question mark. But, like, the thing is, like, Markiplier does not owe anybody anything. In fact, I'd say most people owe Markiplier, like, a huge apology, at least from my community, for kind of being absolute douches to him after a certain point. And I've mentioned this before, and, like, honestly, let's see if I can open this up so these guys can actually reach the arena. Hard to tell. But, like, there's just, yep, they can make it. Yeah. There's just, in a general situation where all of these, like, especially newer Let's Players tend to be like this. And, like, I'm not saying that this is all of them, but, like, newer, less experienced, and just kind of overall disappointed Let's Players will be very, very focused on, like, why not me? And it's hard. It's a hard thing to deal with, and like I've seen it too. Like I mentioned once that I had the opportunity to work with like a much larger YouTuber, and it never panned out. To me, that is actually one of my biggest disappointments in Let's Playing, that never panned out. Not just because the growth potential was just so amazingly high for doing that, but also just simply it was fun. It was really fun to work with these guys. And again, can't name names largely because I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to. Because it might still happen, question mark? Probably not, but I don't know when that agreement ever runs out, but I'd rather take the polite route. God, I am not a good secret keeper. Let me tell you, if you got a secret, don't tell me. Please. I cannot handle that kind of responsibility. But, like, as it stands, you are terrifying. I thought I saw a rock man falling from the ceiling. I'm like, oh no, that's my face. That is coming straight from my face, and I don't want to deal with it. Hello. Well, our health is looking good. Our loot, on the other hand, well, I mean, we got the poison flask, which actually helps a lot. Kind of hoping I can get some, well, that helps. Hoping I can get some iron clusters of iron, though. But, like, I could probably feel entitled. You know, you started this, you put me on, like, this path. You owe me, to some degree, for this kind of thing. But you know what? That's a terrible idea. Like, there's no way I would ever be happy if I felt like anybody, especially like a larger YouTuber, owed me, you know, views or recognition. I talk frequently about, you know, I wonder if like Bisnap or whomever even watches my content. Like, the thing is, even if it turned out that, say, Bisnap actually studied my Vagante footage, and like if that was the case, I'd be honored. But I would never say like, hey man, we should, you should do Vagante with me. I will never ever say that, because that's just not the right thing to do. And like, some part of me kind of like wishes it'll happen. That's for certain. Like, you can't stop yourself from like wishing that like the magical view fairy will show up and be like, ooh, here you go. You know, suddenly you're going to be just as famous as, you know, PewDiePie. God, that would never happen. Just out of sheer reality at that point. But, you know, you always wish that something like that's going to come along and, like, change your future, change your fate. And, like, honestly, it's not going to happen. But I think that's kind of where the entitlement comes, where a lot of people see YouTube as a couple of things. It can be luck. You know, growth in YouTube can be luck, and it can be hard work and skill. And a lot of people will kind of like go back and forth on like, how did you grow on YouTube? Is it luck, or is it skill, or is it something in between? So for me, I would actually say it's kind of a bit of both, for obvious reasons. Oh, this is a little bit scary. These guys are very tough. Because like, it's luck that I covered games before, games that took off. But at the same time, like, some amount of that is, you know, a skill die to be like, yeah, this game actually looks like it's going to do incredibly well. Or at the very least, it looks like it's going to have enough of a fan base for it to be worth me trying out. But some amount of the luck is like, you know, people finding it, the algorithms, stuff like that. But the hard work is, you know, getting it done, getting good content, quality. Fuck, that hurts. Oh, you need to die before I... You know what? Let's just get GTFO. Why am I just hanging out there for no good reason? Damn. I wanted that box, though. Right. Okay. Whew. So close. So... Oh, shit. Hello. At least I got a Heart of Belial, but that's not doing me a whole lot of good. That's why I do not like... that's why I do not like the nail gun on Entite, because you just do not have the health to maintain, and you don't have any jumps. It's brutal. But like, some amount of me is still waiting on like an even luckier break. Like, I got a buddy, Dragast. I've mentioned him before on one of these episodes, where Dragast. Wow, yeah, people do not like Cavern Kings that much for some reason. Oh well. Not the end of the world. It is also almost 2 in the morning. Oh, it's 2:30 in the morning. Go figure. A whole lot of people aren't watching me right now. I need Jackhammer for this. But let's see. But So Dragast got really lucky. I think he was at 10, 20,000, and then he's at like 50, 60,000. I think I mentioned him yesterday, actually. Come to think of it. But like the thing is, he sort of got lucky, sort of. Really, I would say I would blame a lot of that on like skill, whether or not you want to say it. Skill, good timing, good commentary, stuff like that. Because what? Really? All right, whatever. As long as I get the jackhammer, I will try everything. And like I will admit, he does clickbait. He does a lot of things that I would consider maybe a little bit less than well, less than wholesome as far as like I'm concerned. But at the same time, he's aiming for a wildly different target audience than I am. Like if I'm gonna put clickbait on something, it's going to be like art bait of like, oh shit, get out of my face. Get literally out of my face. I only have a face. I am but a face. I'm an eyeball and on fire. So I assume the rest of me is my face. Or my body. It's kind of hard to tell. Stop doing that. But so, Dragast does a lot of like clickbaity type stuff. Almost to the point where it's like questionable, but whatever. But that's the kind of audience he's going for. Stuff like that. And so I can't really like fault him for what he's doing. But so he got really lucky with, I want to say Stranded Deep. And like a lot of people will say lucky, but for me I would just say he managed to do well as a result of that. And that's kind of what it means by get lucky. Like, honestly, God, this is a bad example to go with. But, you know, you use the phrase get lucky in terms of, like, you know, sleeping with somebody. Guy, girl, doesn't matter. But, like, the reality is you don't really get lucky when you end up sleeping with somebody. It was a matter of charm, experience, the right words, stuff like that, right place, right time. None of that, I mean, some amount of that probably can be chalked up to luck if you even believe in luck. It's like a metaphysical concept, but at the same time, it's like, you know, he got lucky with that video, even though it truly means all of these things. But somebody would actually point to that and say, no, just pure luck. He did nothing. It was all just, you know, the magical view fairy handing everything to him on the silver platter. Literally, some people actually claim that as like a legitimate argument, as like, this is why you're successful. I would actually, probably when I'm like 20,000 subs down the line, get fucking out of there, 20,000 subs down the line, somebody's probably going to take a look at me and be like, yeah, this is all pure luck, and I'm going to be like, screw you, man, screw you, and just completely ignore them for the rest of ever. Because, like, honestly, this has been blood, sweat, and tears the entire way through. And a lot of people on the bottom feel like they're just the ones eking out the blood, sweat, and tears, and then after a certain point, you can kind of sit back, relax, and live the high YouTube life, which I can definitely see some people doing. Like, there are a lot of people that don't seem to put as much effort into their content anymore. I'm trying to think of one specifically. I mean, sometimes you'd have to say, like, maybe Game Grumps get a little lazy. I think when they get, like, really tired and loopy, it's like, there's a difference between, like, being entertaining and just being flat out stupid, but again, personal opinion, and you know what they can do, what they want, because they're successful at it. Oh, damn it, teleported right inside there. Oh, we'll get the healing going, but like, somebody will someday, I can guarantee it, claim that all of the successes I've ever had have been pure luck, and I think that's going to drive me insane. But there are people, like, that are purely just waiting to get lucky on YouTube, and it's not a good idea. So, kind of go back to last episode's topic. You get out of there before you blow my ass up. Preface last episode's topic. Luck may have something to do with it, but like never ever feel entitled to anything on YouTube. Give or take. Let's see. Oh man. Wormscaper, I am sorry. I do not have more crawl for you. I probably will not have more crawl unless I play against AI. Oh shoot, there's a box here. Come on, I can get this, I can get this, I can get this. Yeah. Yeah. Get there. Okay. Oh. We're in a good position. We're in a really good position. Except for we're using the goddamn nail gun. Like, I like the nail gun on, like, characters that can jump, because you have mobility, but this character is just like, well, nope, teleporty-doo-dah. And also that eyeball guy turns way too fast for his own good. For my own good, mainly. Oh, hello. At least we're swimming in gems, but we don't have shit for items. That is bad. I think we've got 2,000 more depth before we're fighting the boss. So 2 more levels, give or take. It's hard to tell. Either way, I am worried. almost teleported to the ceiling. That would have been horrifying. Also, I've got the battery on this. I never actually quite processed this, but the battery on the nail gun is actually kind of humorous, in a way. It's kind of just like, well, boink, giant freaking nail. Sort of looks like a T, give or take. Okay. This is always panic-inducing. I do have to say, though, pro for the nail gun. Not that. Pro for the nail gun, it actually really does attack pretty fast. So if you have to clear out a group of enemies, you don't have to worry about aim too much. That's gonna help a lot. Where'd that treasure... Oh, shit, the level exploded. Well, I wasn't even paying attention. Why did I do that? Alright, well, whatever. No! Damn it! Bleh. Alright, well that sucked. Got crushed by a goddamn spike block. I always just ignore those, but still. Alright, well, whatever. There we go. Come on, give me the drill cannon. I feel like the drill cannon is the one with the most amount of... Not that, though. No way. Not even the slightest. This is just terrifying business. I'm sure somebody can do it. Maybe Sleep Cycles. I know Sleep Cycles is, like, passably good at this game. I've never actually seen him play, though. Drill kit. Give or take. Well, we'll see. Nope. And... nope. Why is it giving me Power Fist? Like, that is the single worst weapon to give this worm and stuff like that. Yes, there we go. Okay. Now, the next topic, seeing as people are talking about it, is... God, this again. Alright, well, we'll try it. For better or worse. Hello. That's actually going to help a little bit. The next topic I might as well talk about is... God, I'm, like, very focused on growth right now. And, I mean, go figure. I'm doing a lot of it, so growth would be on my mind. Like, we are growing, like, 40 to 50 subs a day? 30 to 50, give or take. Sometimes 60. Hard to tell. And I'm really hoping we can maintain that growth rate, just because it'd be an amazingly great opportunity for me. But so... Zig M4 comes up with a Zigmate? No, never mind, that would be an 8. Damn it, I'm bad with this. Brings up the point that, like, as a YouTuber gets bigger, they forget about their audience. And I mentioned this the other day, that I actually do remember my fans. I remember a lot of my fans, and, like, the nice thing is, I can always go back and see, you know, who were my fans back in the day. Purely based on, like, going back to my old videos and be like, hey, yeah, you know, I remember you, this and that. The one problem is, like, Twitch audience stuff. Like, if you guys are commenting on the Twitch, unfortunately, I cannot check the chat logs for, like, my first chat. And that makes me so sad, because I really do actually want to go back. I really do want to go back. And, like, say, this was my first stream. Who was here? Nobody, because nobody watches. Actually, I think I had a couple people watching my first stream, which was glorious, but I remember what happened the last time I did that. But, like, I would love to go back and see, and there's no way to do so, and that makes me really sad, actually. And I'd love to be able to figure out a way of, like, archiving my chats for the future, because, like, YouTube comments are pretty much forever, at least until YouTube shuts down. So I mentioned David B, who, I don't know if you're watching this, David, but shout out to you. And he was... I mentioned, he was the commenter that kept me going for so long. Him and, like, a couple other people, but primarily him. And, like, he just left great comments all the time. And, like, the thing is, I know a lot of people think that, like, once you've moved on from, like, YouTube... Well, like, once you've moved on from being, like, a small fry to a large YouTuber, that the YouTuber forgets about you. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of larger YouTubers can remember their first couple fans. Especially, like, the big ones that had, like, a huge impact on them. And, like, I feel really bad to some degree that eventually I will get to the point where it's going to be almost impossible for me to keep up with, you know, chat on Twitch. Or the comments. Already, the comments on YouTube are pretty hard to keep up with. I get, like, 10 per video plus, and, like, that doesn't seem like much, but when I put out 8 videos a day, it becomes quite a lot, especially when I spend 90% of my, like, waking hours doing YouTube-y things. I mean, honestly, I do a lot of time just dicking around or making bread. I make a lot of bread, seriously. Somebody asked me what my favorite cooked dish was, and it's, like, either a cross between... Actually, no. Beef stroganoff is my favorite dish to make, probably. Either that or peanut Thai curry with shell. But I make a lot of bread. Like, that is my specialty. I am a baker. I am not a cook. I'm not a fry chef, though I'm pretty good at frying. Because I got thick skin, so it's kind of hard for the oil spatter to hit me. But, like... As far as, like, YouTube goes, eventually it will become completely unsustainable, and that actually is super depressing, and it's kind of one of those where it's like, you kind of wish you could keep it super small and just have, like, a very close group of people that are your most dedicated fans, and they're always the ones talking and stuff like that, but, like, it's already become kind of obvious that, oh, hello, this is interesting and terrifying, and, whoop, hello, there goes my shield, already. Oh, could have been worse. At least I got a shield. But I saw a thread with a guy that was at, I want to say he was like at 1,000 subs, give or take. And he was actually asking if there was a way to make it so he couldn't grow anymore. Or limit chat or stuff like that. And there's just no way to do it. I mean, one of the nice things will be, is once I'm a partner Twitch member, I will be able to, you know, switch things over to subscriber only, and that might actually exclude some of you. Which makes me kind of sad, but like, if I'm getting to the point where I have like 500 people in chat talking at all times, it's gonna be completely unfeasible. Oh, wrong button. Gonna be completely unfeasible for me to have chat just completely unlocked, which is super depressing. And you know, I'd probably unlock it and lock it depending on how things go. Probably leave it up to the moderators, honestly. But still. But so once that happens, it'd be a little bit easier to get back into kind of like small beans mode for at least a little while. But like eventually, if you get up to like 100,000 subscribers, it's just going to be very, very difficult to keep up with it at all. And like, I'm not trying to make excuses ahead of time. I'm mostly just saying I'm sorry ahead of time, and kind of already to some degree. Damn it! I really need that Cyclops skull so I can see where I'm aiming. But like, people say I'm going to forget about. I'm gonna forget about my fans, and like the reality of the situation is, like, after a certain point, I'm not gonna be able to treat most of you like individuals, just because it's so very hard to do. Those of you that stick around for like ever, I'm gonna remember you, and I'm absolutely going to be able to respond to you at least when I see it. But it's gonna be hard. Like somebody mentioned cryotic streams. Holy crap, that dude has a lot of people watching, and like there's just no way to feasibly deal with that kind of influx of people. Save for having good moderators and just really trying to foster a good community, which is hard to do. I was in like one of Slow Beef streams, and I was actually impressed. Oh, jeez. Jesus Christ, that does a lot of damage. Watch the goddamn block. Especially because we're going to be fighting a boss immediately after this. Trying to get my health back, but it's not working. Wait, no, I think I got one more distance before I go. Oh, well, at least we got some stuff going for us. Yeah, we got one left. Good. But, like, I don't actually forget. I say I'm bad with names, but, like, the reality of the situation is I'm usually just bad at pronouncing names, and to a small degree remembering them. But, like, if any of you, like, leave a comment behind or stuff like that, I might not remember everything about you, anything like that. But I'm definitely going to remember a number of things. You know, the good stuff, the important stuff, at least as far as I'm concerned. So, like, just, like, I don't want to, like, run around name-dropping just because after a certain point I don't want to be, like, in a name-droppy mood. Also, just, I find name-dropping just so hard to do. It's hard enough for me to say, like, hi and bye to people, come to think of it. But, like, now people are trying to determine what kind of, henchman names, well, not henchmen, minion names, there we go. How about just minions? Nah. Oh, interesting. Oh! Oh, I see how it works. There are 10 levels between. Not, each level is a distance of 500, not 1,000. Like I originally surmised. Hello. Well, there goes the level. As long as I don't take damage here, I'm not terribly worried. So I'm in a pretty good spot for just beasting the eyeball. I almost got him. Oh well. But, like, I don't forget easily. And, like, maybe 5 years down the line, I'm going to have trouble remembering everybody that ever helped me along. And I'm going to feel really bad about that, but I don't know. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to say. And, like, I really don't have, like, an official system or response. Currently, actually, just kind of a shout-out of, like, if anybody ever wants to, like, contact me, the easiest way to actually get a hold of me, just for funsies. Oh, good. It's not the goddamn eyeball. Might actually be able to murder him fairly effectively here. Oh, balls. Well, that hurt a lot. Ow. Okay, we're just getting pummeled. Left and right. Oh, at least we get that, though. Gotta stop it with that harpoon gun, though. We are just not staying on target. Oh, well, we've got, I believe, one Heart of Belial. Yeah. Nope, nope, nope. Ah, damn it. Fuck. Alright, well, that was bad. Why is it that the C4 is the only thing that I pick up immediately, but every other item always just disappears immediately? Or, like, I have to come back for? Oh, well, either way. Oh, hey, Warp. How's it going? Yeah, minion bots. That sounds good. I like that. Because I'm Wander. Everybody else can be the minions. I don't freaking know. Anyway, I never really think about that stuff. I know, like, PewDiePie is pretty much capitalized bros, and I'd never even do that myself. But it always feels weird to have, like, a title for my fans. I don't know what I'd do in that situation. I guess just go along with it. If people actually want to self-identify as that. But I don't think I'm ever going to, like, try and make it a thing. I'm like, God, how would I even ever do that? It'd be a mess. I am not the kind of person that tries to force a joke. Or if I am trying to force a joke, I'm trying to force it because I want it to die. I am a joke killer, but at this point I realized it's just intentional. After a certain point in middle school, you may or may not realize it, but I'm not exactly the funniest guy on the planet, or at least I don't consider myself as such. I definitely wasn't when I was in like school. Either that or I just wasn't popular enough. So anytime I tried to be funny, it ended up just being meaningless. Or, you know, laughed at because people are dicks, especially middle school. But so, after a certain point, I realized that everybody would just kind of make fun of me for ruining the joke. So I was like, alright, fuck it. Let's just embrace this and become the guy that always ruins the joke, especially when the joke has gotten to the point where it's kind of stupid. At this point, I've turned my weakness into my strength, and no, I don't even know what I'm doing. Either that or I've come out the other side of stupid and ended up funny, which is kind of weird. Hard to tell. Either way, I'm trying to win everybody over with my charm and good looks anyway. Seriously, these are some pretty good looks. Look at all these eyes. There's too many of them. Gotta blow them up. Anyway, let's see. God, I'm trying to like keep on track its topics and stuff, but like honestly, I feel like I've covered like the gamut as far as like a lot of things go. And people are still trying to figure out like henchbots isn't bad actually. Come to think of it, I actually need to go see. I need to go see. Despicable Me 2. I haven't seen that yet, and I want to. I heard it was actually fairly good. I loved Despicable Me 1. I thought it was quite charming. I don't... Oh, God. So, you need to die. Nope. So, I really hate most, like, Disney Pixar movies that are, like, extremely kid-focused. I'm trying to think of, like, ones. Oh, God, I hate the Cars movies. The Cars movies are atrocious. But, like, beyond that, I had trouble with, The Incredibles. I thought The Incredibles was a very good movie, but I always hate the whole kind of, like, bring your kids along thing that they do in the Disney Pixar movies, and I can totally understand why, but it always ends up becoming, you know, purely about the kids, and not kind of, like, in an interesting manner. So for me, I actually really appreciated in The Incredibles. This is a wild topic change, but still, yeah, was Despicable Me DreamWorks? I have no idea, actually. I don't pay enough attention. But still, I lump them all together because they're about the same thing. Just slightly different styles here and there. Visual, mostly. Because I know Disney's trying to go for, like, a weird cartoon realism. And Pixar kind of has this, like, weird plastic look. That I guess... Oh, balls. Let's just leave that alone for the time being. Hey, we might actually win this one. Weirdly enough. Why am I taking damage? I don't even... Oh, probably because there's a stone man inside me. That sounds weird. But, like, I always hate having, like, the kids in the movies, because they never react in a sensible manner for me, and, like, maybe part of it is because I was never, like, a particularly excitable kid. At least, after a while, I probably was fairly excitable and fairly rational for quite a while. Hello, body armor. You might save my ass. Probably not. It doesn't seem to save me that much. Let's just get over here. Leave this alone. But so for The Incredibles, it was... Like, the first half was about, you know, Mr. Incredible. Holy shit, what was all that business? Oh, C4 and everything. Damn, I hate that power-up. I wonder if I can actually turn that off, come to think of it. Stop putting men inside me. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. I'm a goddamn disembodied eyeball that's set on fire. What are you gonna tell me to do? Stop existing? Nah, I'm gonna keep putting stone things in me. And worms and other shit. It's bad. Anyway, let's leave. You know what I just realized? We've been playing Entite with dynamic camera on this entire time. This is gonna get jarring. So much better though, damn. Can't believe I was actually succeeding with it too. That's insane. But still, okay. But so for The Incredibles, like the first half was purely just about, you know, Mr. Incredible running around and, well, being Mr. Incredible, and like he was hanging out with Frozone and stuff like that. I actually thought that was really cool because it was kind of a nice buddy cop moment. And then, you know, the wife gets involved and she's actually kind of a badass too. And then you get the kids involved and they're whiny and they're ineffective up until, you know, the kind of revelation that they are in fact superheroes to some degree or another. And it's like, all right, you know, you could have just had like a group of superheroes running around doing superhero business. Would have actually liked that better. And I don't know. I do not have a black hole box. That is surprising to me. And we should probably leave, come to think of it. Anyway, let's just scoot. I think they've come to a consensus about the henchbots. I don't even know, I just see henchbots. I'm never going to refer to anybody as henchbots. Probably just going to be like guys and whatever. Alright, well, whatever. I don't know. Some of this stuff is weird. Some of the internet culture that I'm just getting exposed to as a result of YouTube is getting to be a problem. Not a bad problem, but a problem, in a way. Okay. Let's just beast our way through everything. We've got a box up there. I really want the chest, but these guys keep coming out. I do have a shield, though. That is nice. And, like, our harpoons are doing all sorts of damage. I really want to do a harpoon run with Top Hat, but I know it would be, like, hella dangerous. Hella to the point of being like, oh boy. By the way, speaking of oh boy, time to leave. That's not so bad. Now, I think we've got a boss, and it's actually kind of nice to be, nice knowing the exact formula for, like, when the bosses show up. Time for me to leave. Off into the sky. I must go, my people need me. Never mind. My people have, very little... Ooh, hello. Holy shit balls. That hurt a lot. Let's grab this and get the fuck out of Dodge. Alright, that hurt a lot. So here's the problem. Most enemies at this point do like half of my health and damage, especially when they freaking explode. I don't have magnetism, which is actually making this really freaking hard. Alright, well, whatever. Emotions are rising. My eyes are a little bit dry. Note to self, drink more. And I don't mean the boozahol side of things. Nope. Alright, we got them out of there. Perfect. Okay, now it's time to leave. Bye. There we go. Okay. Oh, hey, Intense. Welcome back. Let's see. But yeah, no. Like, The Incredibles was really quite good in a lot of ways. Like, I loved the Edna mode, or Edna Mole, or whatever her name was. That whole scene was amazing, and I was actually really disappointed she was not more of a character in the movie. And I think they're making an Incredibles 2. I would love to see an Incredibles 2 where they're grown up. Or at least, like, kind of Nightwing age, like late teens, early 20s. That would be wonderful. Kind of seeing, like, some of the aging superhero trope and very little in terms of the, like, young superheroes. It's kind of why, like, I don't like the first Star Wars movie, because, like, Anakin Skywalker is just a goddamn kid. He's not great. He's effectively just meaningless and, well, a kid. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I dislike kids, but there's certainly an amount of me that's just like, kids are annoying. Maybe because kids have a capacity for being kind of dickish. That's interesting. This boss is very frustrating. Hey, we get the that. There we go. We get scattershot, finally. Ooh, shovel. Not shovel, shields. Yeah. Anything else? Doesn't look like it. Alright. Well, let's go and go out. Oh, we might actually be able to beat this run. Give or take. Oh, shoot. Nothing? Nothing. Nobody. Okay, perfect. Oh, let's just scoot and run and scoot and run and scoot and run and stuff like that. Okay. So, we might be able to make this run. It's... So, the harpoon gun. I really wish the harpoon gun could actually pierce blocks. Because I think that would be hugely useful. Or at least bust them up really effectively. That'd actually be really nice if you could get, like, blast caps on your equipment. That'd be kind of nice. Of course, I kind of hope we can get some more drills along the way, because I would love to be able to have, like, complete neutral buoyancy in the air. Like, I actually really have to focus on this now. Oh, shoot. Wait, that's gonna chunk it down. You can't destroy treasure chests. Perfect. Thank you. And let's quickly grab all this stuff. This is good music, by the way. I'm trying to remember what it's from, but I honestly don't remember. Oh, well, not the end of the world. Okay, let's just Rudy Tooty gun and shooty. Rudy Tooty gun and don't want that to blow up in my face. Oh, yes. Yes. I only have 2 of those. I'd love more. Gotta say, that void shard thing that I unlocked finally. Very glad about it. It is solid. Wow, that is too much. Everything is a little bit too much right now. I don't want to deal with it, but you know what? Gotta deal. At least I got all the loot, which is usually the main priority. What is the point where you hit cycle? When you hit cycle 2? These golden guys are just rolling in it, rolling straight for me too. Oh, damn it. Never mind. Not making that run. Really? That was only 20 minutes. Yeah, see, the problem is, like, the natural defenselessness of Entite, the just lack of hit points is just so killer. That shield helped amazingly, though, but, like, if you get stuck, it's just like, you're dead. Either way, that was a brilliant run. That was, I think, the farthest we've ever gotten with Entite. Give or take. Might have been a little bit closer, a little bit farther. I have no idea. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next episode of Cavern Kings. And as always, thanks for watching.